It is a plant care day, which is my favorite day of the week. Let's spend a few hours pottering around my home looking after my houseplants. First up is my bird of paradise, the Strelitzia nicolai. I am giving these big beautiful leaves a misting, and I do this for a few reasons. Misting helps cool down your plants, cleans the leaves, and also deters some plant pests. Creatures such as spider mites and mealybugs thrive in a dry environment, so wetting the leaves will help to deter them. Misting the leaves is also a really good chance to get up and personal with your plants to look for signs of any pests or other issues. I also really love misting my houseplants. I find it very calming. I love the sound and the routine, which is also so important. Remember, plant care is self-care. For some of my larger plants, I use the bottle method, including for my Strelitzia and my Monstera deliciosa. These bottles are both sitting in terracotta spikes, which will help slow the flow of water. It's a good way to keep larger houseplants hydrated during the warmer months. Now, I am a big fan of bottom watering houseplants, but once a month I do top water them as well. This is to make sure I am flushing through any salt or minerals that may be sitting at the top of the plant. For bigger plants, it's also important to do so you don't face issues such as dry rot. As well as plants in soil, I also have propagations on this shelf and hydroplants, so I'm topping up the water for those as well. Now, another of my favorite plant chores. Pruning. I love pruning plants. It really does help them grow and improves the look of your collection. I snip off leaves which are yellowing, damaged, or if a plant is getting too big and unruly. Pruning plants is such a great practice to get into, as it really will help you to understand how they grow. For a lot of houseplants, such as the philodendron or ficus, cutting them will also help them bush out as well. This will stop you from having a leggy houseplant. It is important to note that pruning is not the same as propagation. Most plants you cannot propagate from a single leaf. I'm now misting my philodendron pink princess and one of my Fiddle Leaf Fig plants. I am also going to give them both a top water. It is currently summer here in Australia, so I am watering both of these plants more frequently. For my philodendron, I water them weekly in the warmer months. For my Fiddle Leaf Fig, I water them every 10 to 14 days in summer. Where I live does get fairly hot. It has been over 40 degrees the last few days, which is over 105 in Fahrenheit. As well as the blazing heat and sun, I've also been blasting the aircon, which means that these plants are drying out and definitely need a good drink. Now, although it is hot and sunny, it doesn't mean that all of my plants need watering. I water my cacti and succulents monthly in the warmer months. But I am someone who loves to fuss over my plants, so instead of overwatering them, I'm going to clean the leaves instead. For my euphorbia, I'm going in with a clean, dry cloth and dusting off the tiny leaves. For my ficus elastica bambino, I'm going in with some neem oil and a wet cloth. Neem oil is a great organic product which helps to deter pests and clean the leaves of your plants. It is a fantastic leaf shine, and as well as deterring bugs, it will also help to combat common issues such as mildew and fungus. Make sure your product is diluted and keep your plant out of direct sunlight for at least 24 hours after you have sprayed it. It is an oil, so direct sunlight can scorch the leaves. It's also quite a thick product, so you need to wipe it off after you have sprayed it on to avoid clogging the leaves. It is not the same as misting with water. I use it on my plants with hardier leaves, such as the ficus, monstera, and bird of paradise. Don't spray your palleas or peperomias or any plants with velvety leaves such as some begonias. But enough about neem oil, let's get back to watering some of my favorite houseplants. I recently repotted this gorgeous Monstera Thai constellation, and I'm so happy that she's pushed out a new leaf since I have repotted. I always do get a little bit worried when I'm repotting Monsteras, because if they get stressed during the process, the leaves can turn yellow and die off. Happily, I've learned my lesson and she's absolutely thriving after the repot. Just like with the euphorbia, I am not going to water my snake plant, and instead I'm going to ignore her. We don't want to overwater in this house. Instead of overwatering, pick up a duster and clean some more leaves. Having clean leaves on your houseplants will help them grow bigger and thrive. Having dust or debris on the leaves hinders the photosynthesis process and again can attract bugs. Just like with misting, dusting is a good opportunity to get up close and personal with your houseplants to check for any issues. After a quick cuddle session with my senior schnauzer Marvin, it was on to more watering. I am giving my neon pothos a quick top water and then moving on to my Maranta. I have found they are easy to care for if you keep the soil moist. I do this by using the string method. You can find a dedicated tutorial on this method on my channel already, but in short, this method includes running a string through your plant into a reservoir of water at the base of your planter. This means that as the soil dries out, it can draw up new water, ensuring the soil and plant is always moist. Whilst I'm here, I've noticed the blooms on my Maranta are spent now, so I'm going to snip those off as well. Let the pottering continue. Downstairs, I'm heading over to one of my other Fiddle Leaf Figs. I know I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I think this is currently the favorite in my collection. I recently repotted this big beauty as well, and just like the Monstera, I'm happy to report not a single leaf was lost after the process. I am giving this plant a full litre of water, and whilst I'm down here, I'm of course checking for pests. You will usually see signs of pests underneath the leaves of your plants, so make sure to always check them. Common signs include yellowing leaves, leaves dropping off, mottled patterns, eggs or droppings, and of course, sometimes seeing a pest itself. Misting, dusting, and using neem oil will help to deter pests, but the best way to know that nothing is lurking is by having a good look. I'm almost done with my Sunday plant care day. I'm just going to top up a few of my hydro plants. I rarely fully change the water of my hydro plants and instead opt to top up as needed. Finally, I'm giving a few of my rubber plants in my Ficus elastica collection a good messy water. I do like the freedom of watering outside and ensuring the leaves get a good wash as well. Once you have finished, it is time for the most important step, which is admiring your big, beautiful houseplants. This is just a few of the plants in my collection. Not every plant needs a dust or water weekly, and of course they aren't all on the same schedule. One plant chore I have managed to sync up is fertilizer, so I will be posting that soon. I have also noted your request of a full plant collection tour, and I'm planning to do one in the coming weeks. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed watching my plant care day. I would love to hear about your plant care days as well and what your favorite plant is right now.